Hello, everybody, and welcome to Module 4. Great work so far. You guys have done an awesome job going through all this material, gathering all the content that I've put together for you, and creating your assignments and your discussion posts. It has been so much fun reviewing everything that you've put together. So many of you have reached out for additional information or clarification on things, and even questions about things unrelated to our course that I've been able to be a resource for you, and I absolutely love it, especially since we can't interact in person. It has been so much fun to interact with you via the computer and over the internet. This next module might be my favorite module yet. As I had mentioned, we got through a lot of the nitty-gritty details in the first 3 modules, and now we're going to start to look at the practical applications of all the specific terminology and some of the theoretical models that we have studied. So what we're going to do first is take a look at the difference between mass media and mass communication. And mass media includes each medium through which communication is made available to the masses. Easily explained as saying that mass media includes books, newspapers, magazines, radio, television, the internet. Mass communication, on the other hand, is the information that is exchanged or shared through the masses through those mediums. It is the process through which communication is made available to the masses. So mass communication is done through mass media. You see the difference there between the two? You can't share mass communication or have mass communication unless you have mass media and all of those outlets. So we don't communicate to the masses unless you have the mediums of books, newspapers, magazines, radio, TV, and the internet. After we have looked at those 2 concepts, we're going to transition into what is known as media convergence, and that is the blending of different mediums. So instead of having individual entities of mass communication or individual mediums, we are going to look at how all those mediums are blended together in the genre of sport communication. So we'll specifically look at ESPN and how they are the perfect example for media convergence, using all the different entities that they have, blending them together to create one large mass media empire. From there, we'll look at the rise of social media and the new era that we're entering in, known as mass self-communication. And that is led by the transition from push communication to pull communication. And push communication is where the only input consumers have in traditional mass media is to decide whether or not they will consume it. Pull communication is where content is still pushed out by consumers on select mediums, but the users are now free to select what they consume. In addition, they can not only select what they're consuming, but they can now repackage it and create their own content by commenting on it and creating a new type of material through that. And usually that's done through social media and the mass communication platforms that are available, thus creating mass self-communication. After we've gone through those different areas, we're going to take a look at how all of this is put together and actually applied practically into the world of sport communication. So similar to teams working together on the field, television and radio production groups that cover events also excel through teamwork. Well, who is on their team? What creates all of these different forms of mass media that we're watching? It doesn't just appear on our television or transmitted through the radio waves. It is a team of people behind the scenes that are working together. So we'll look at some of the details surrounding the professionals responsible for creating and supporting the sporting events, along with all the different production jobs within sport broadcasting and the mass media world. Some of those include the announcers, the commentators, the reporters, audio and video technicians, camera operators, producers, and directors. A lot of those different positions we'll specifically look at and see how they contribute to mass media and the world of sport. From there, we'll flex our own production muscles and we'll uncover the steps for writing our own radio advertisements and exactly how to exercise our voices and get ourselves primed for how to use our voice for radio and television. So there's some pretty cool videos that I have included. we'll wrap up this module with probably my favorite section, and we're going to look at specifically the Olympic Games. Last module, we looked at the Super Bowl and how that is one of the largest singular sport production events around the world that is viewed around the world. And now we'll transition into the Olympic Games, which is several sports, several different sporting events over the course of a few weeks that is played and represented by entities all around the world. So it's not just an American product, it's a global product. And I know that we can look at this is a macro level. We can look at the micro level of sport, but if we study it on the level of the Olympic Games, and you can see all the different segments of the production for mass media, it's easier to apply it to what that looks like on a smaller level in the world of collegiate sport, in the world of our professional sports, at your local high school, on the local level with youth sports. Of course, all those specific roles don't apply across all those levels as you make your way down, but we can see it on its biggest display and then try to assess what that looks like on the different levels. There are a few different videos that specifically discuss the Olympic Broadcast Service Department. This is a branch of the International Olympic Committee, so the IOC. The Olympic Broadcast Services is known as OBS, and they are responsible for providing the international television and radio signals for the games to all the different broadcast right holders around the world. So what are broadcast right holders, and how does that information get shared around the world? So we'll look at that specifically. And then I have some really cool videos for you to look at. I geek out over all this stuff. I think it's just so cool to study the world of the Olympic Games and specifically look at it through the lens of sport communication. We're at such a unique time right now where we get to experience both the summer and then the winter games almost back to back. So I shared a lot of information to help you better understand the behind the scene work that goes into these games, to understand the process, and of course, understand, hey, where are some of these roles at these other levels that maybe I'm interested in and that are applicable to you and a career that maybe you're interested in studying. There's also, or a career interested in pursuing. There's also some really cool places or information shared in there where you might realize there's an internship opportunity or a temporary job opportunity that could become available or is available within the next couple months because of the upcoming Olympic Games. So make sure you watch all that content. The videos in this module, there's a lot of them. And I just think that they are a really great practical application of what we're studying. I could create my own videos or I could write all of this information out, but the high level quality production that are in these videos really will help you get a better understanding of everything that we're learning in its practical application out in the sport world. So make sure you watch all those videos. They are part of our module this week. There are a few readings, but not as much this week because we are heavy on the video side. So I'm excited for you to dive into all of that. At the end of the module, you will find a discussion and an assignment. As usual, if you have any questions or you need anything, you can reach out to me. But other than that, I'm excited for you to dive into this module because it is my favorite so far. Have a great week, everybody, and I look forward to all of your material at the end of this module.